Hello and welcome back. This is now the sixth and final part of our resimulation of the entire Super Bowl era. This will be Super Bowls 51 through 60 as we go from 2016 to the recently completed season of 2025. If you've yet to see anything up to this point in the series, you have totally missed out, and there will be spoilers up ahead. We have provided for you a link in the description of this video to the entire playlist. Here's a quick rundown explaining all the essentials about how this has worked and how it's going to work. We did cover this in a bit more detail in part 1 of the video if you happen to see that. We also have it written down for you in a little bit longer form in the description of this video, which is where that link is also there for you to click on. This channel has always run on C-Score, and we will be tracking the C-Score of each one of these teams for each one of these seasons, as we have done for the first 50 years of the Super Bowl era. When the video's over, for the last time, we're going to have the C-Score for every single team, not just what they did in the resim, but what they did in the real world as well. One last thing is available for you in the description of this video. That would be a deeper and more thorough explanation about what C-Score is all about. For the last time, let's get on the field and resim these final seasons. In our intro to the 2014 season, we made reference to a silver platter mini era. Well, here is the apex of that in 2016. Our Super Bowl was between the Atlanta Falcons and the New England Patriots. In the second half of that game, the Atlanta Falcons, holding a 25-point lead, were playing as if they were losing by 25 points, continuously putting the ball in the air and running a hurry-up offense, essentially. That's how 28-3 becomes a loss in the Super Bowl, and that's exactly what happened to these Falcons. Little surprise here that this game went to overtime, with the coin toss being won by the Patriots. At the time, a touchdown on the first possession of overtime meant the game was over, and the overspent, overtired Atlanta Falcons promptly gave up that touchdown. At the core of all this, at the core of this massively blown lead, was Falcons offensive coordinator who ran the offense completely, Mike Shanahan. Mr. Shanahan has gone on to blow 2 more double-digit Super Bowl leads, making this act officially known as Shanahaning. Also, the Rams moved back to Los Angeles. Some people cared. It's time to take a look at these NFL standings, and the New England Patriots were certainly a good team in 2016, there's no question, but that division absolutely sucks. They managed to go 14-2, win the East, and grab the AFC's number 1 seed. The AFC North was nothing special either, maybe a little bit better overall. Pittsburgh finishes 13-3 and secures the other first-round bye. The AFC South was kinda up for grabs, but not really. The Tennessee Titans win it at 11-5, their first division title and their first playoff appearance period since their Super Bowl championship winning team of 2008. Now, the West was hard fought, and it provides us half of the entire playoff field. It's the Kansas City Chiefs who finished in first at 11-5, while Denver and Oakland both finished 10-6. They tied for a 3-3 record within the division. Denver went 8-4 against the common opponents of Oakland, who went 7-5. So Denver's the 5, Oakland's the 6, and the Titans get the 3 seed from the Chiefs based on head-to-head. So the West may have provided half the field, but they're seeded at 4, 5, and 6. The NFC East will play the same role as the AFC West, providing 3 playoff teams. Dallas wins the division at 12-4, Philly's 11-5, and the Giants are 10-6. For the Green Bay Packers, 11-5 is a mostly fine record, but well good enough to win the North Division. Atlanta, not surprisingly, is an offensive powerhouse this year, going 13-3, dominating the NFC South and grabbing the number 1 overall seed. In the West, the Seattle Seahawks have won 3 straight Super Bowls and will be shooting for 4 straight. But it will not happen. They're going to miss the playoffs at 9-7, while the Arizona Cardinals take the division at 11-5. They had a better conference record than the Packers, so they'll take the number 3 seed, while Green Bay will take number 4. It's the greatest run anyone's ever seen. The Seahawks won 3 straight Super Bowls, but they, along with the rest of us, now have to see who else can be crowned Super Bowl champion in 2016. And all that's going to start by going through this playoff bracket. The Kansas City Chiefs handled business with ease over their division rival Denver Broncos, while Oakland has a similarly easy time. This gives the Raiders their first playoff win since the 2002 AFC Championship game. The real Oakland/Las Vegas Raiders are still waiting for that first win. Kansas City and Pittsburgh goes to overtime after a Pittsburgh safety makes it 23-23. They win with a final score of 29-23, while the Patriots have an easy time over the Raiders. We're getting the Steelers at the Patriots, the same matchup as we had in real life, and the game went about the same way as well. New England was much better than Pittsburgh. So the Patriots were making the Super Bowl every 3 seasons. They won in 04, 07, and 10. They skipped 2013, but here in 2016, they are back in the Super Bowl. Who will officially be taking the crown of NFC champion away from the Seattle Seahawks? The NFC East represent both wildcard teams, and they both represented going on the road, Philly over Green Bay and the Giants over Arizona. The Eagles remain road warriors, grabbing a second win this season over the Dallas Cowboys in Dallas, while Atlanta had themselves a little struggle but still beat the Giants. Philly's gonna try for their 3rd straight road victory, but Atlanta has none of it, and in the words of Barry Switzer, hang a half 100 on them. This means in this resim, this is Atlanta's first ever Super Bowl appearance. And looky here, we're getting the rematch, the infamous rematch from Super Bowl 51. This is the 7th time the resim Super Bowl has been the same, and as we've mentioned before, the real champ has won them all. Will this be lucky number 7 for New England, or can Atlanta turn it around? We are returning to NRG Stadium in Houston for this Super Bowl. It was known as Reliant Stadium the first time around. We're getting this rematch between the AFC champion New England Patriots and the NFC champion Atlanta Falcons. The Falcons will be looking to replicate their real-life fast start in this game. Matt Ryan drops back to pass, goes across the middle to Austin Hooper, breaks a tackle, and gets this down to the 32-yard line. On the very next play, this pass goes to Julio Jones for the touchdown. Bang, bang, just like that, Atlanta does jump out to a 7-0 lead. Will New England have a response? If they do, it starts here on special teams. Danny Amendola gets the kickoff, getting through and around different defenders. He's crossed midfield, giving the Patriots excellent field position, leading to this beautiful downfield connection between Tom Brady and Julian Edelman. The Patriots do what they couldn't do in the real-life Super Bowl, scoring a touchdown in the first half. We're tied up at 7 apiece. Atlanta now faces a 3rd and 3. This is going to be a quick pass to Julio Jones. They've got a hold of him, and moreover, Deron Harmon's going to force the fumble. New England's going to recover in excellent field position. This is going to touch off a bit of a touchdown bonanza. LeGarrette Blount bruises his way in for the score. This pitch goes to Devontae Freeman. We're tied at 14, still in the first quarter. Now New England, Brady finds Chris Hogan for the touchdown. And now this deep connection to Julio Jones. The Pats give chase and he breaks a tackle and will score. That ties it up at 21. And here comes LeGarrette Blount once again with 1:22 left in the first half. A lot of back and forth in what's become a defense optional game. New England leads 27-21 because Atlanta blocks the extra point. They've got the ball, they're back at their own 17, but with this offense, I'd say they have enough time. Ryan is going to fire. I wonder who he wants. He goes to Julio Jones, makes the catch, breaks a couple of tackles, gets it down to the 41-yard line. Not quite field goal range, but with 52 seconds remaining, they might not have to think about field goal. They are going to run this to Devontae Freeman. The Patriots have him wrapped up, but he gets away and there's nobody in the vicinity, and Atlanta will indeed steal a touchdown before the end of the half. This game has got 55 first half points. Atlanta leads 28-27. Now here comes New England. Their offense is humming too. This pass goes to Julian Edelman. That connection between him and Brady is the major reason why Edelman spins away from a tackle, has a chance to score, but gets taken down at the 8-yard line. They go backwards after a Vic Beasley sack. It's now 3rd and goal from the 17. The short out to James White is incomplete. Steven Gostkowski will come out for this field goal attempt, but he's going to push it wide. Atlanta's going to take over the ball with the lead. They have it 3rd and 3 at their own 27-yard line. Ryan drops back. He wants Mohamed Sanu this time. He makes an incredible catch in coverage, getting the ball into Patriot territory. It's 3rd down again, 3rd and 2 from the 36. A direct snap goes to Devontae Freeman. He hasn't had much of a game, but he does have 2 long touchdown runs. He's still not over 100 yards on his own, but Atlanta will now extend the lead. It's still a one-score game at 35-27. New England on the march from their own 36. They give to LeGarrette Blount. He is bulldozing his way, but here he shows some moves, and he will fumble. It's Grady Jarrett downfield knocking the ball loose. That's the first takeaway for Atlanta. They've now got it 2nd and 13 at their own 46 off the play action. They go deep to Julio, makes the catch in stride, has enough speed to score, and the Falcons have now scored 21 consecutive points. They lead 42-27. If they can get one more stop on defense here, it might be over. But New England has plenty of offense and plenty of time. We're still in the 3rd quarter where Julian Edelman makes this catch, gets taken down finally at the 22-yard line. With some time remaining, they give to Blount. He goes right up the middle, knocks over a dude, and scores the touchdown. This game is far from over. It's 42-34. We're on pace for 100 points in this game as we enter the 4th quarter. New England's dropping the onside kick. Nobody saw it coming, Atlanta included, so the Patriots recover. They've got it at their own 47-yard line. Brady's gonna throw. He has some time, lets it go last second. Chris Hogan makes the catch and is tackled at the 13. Atlanta is shell-shocked here. Brady's gonna once again go to Hogan, and he's gonna get in for the score. New England steals back 14 points. They do indeed kick this extra point, leaving this a 42-41 game. Atlanta needs to shake the cobwebs. The offense hasn't been on the field. They go to Tevin Coleman on the pass, makes the catch, gets out past midfield, breaks another tackle. What a play by Coleman. He's kind of been quiet during this game, but they pitch it to him. He's got the emergence going here. He gets through several tackles and is going to break another one and score the touchdown. The Tevin Coleman show takes place on that drive. Atlanta gets back out to a 49-41 lead. The Patriots have it 2nd and 1 from their own 32. Brady goes to Martellus Bennett, makes the catch and drags the tackler a couple of yards. They're at the 45-yard line. They've now moved it up to the 32. It's 1st down. Brady drops back and gets taken down by Vic Beasley. That's going to leave them in a 4th and 15 situation. Brady drops back, maybe hears some footsteps, lets the ball go too early to Blount. He cannot break the tackles. He gets taken down, and the Atlanta Falcons in this shootout of shootouts are going to win this game 49-41. Our record for most points in a Super Bowl was 77. The real life record is 75. This one hit 90, totally shattering all of that. Only 2 other playoff games, period, were higher scoring than this, with one of those going to overtime. Just an endless barrage of points, and the man most responsible for them, with his earlier fumble indeed helping set up the other guys, was Julio Jones. He caught 7 passes, which might not sound like much, but he took those for 229 yards, an average of nearly 33 yards per reception, and he got into the end zone 3 times. Outside of that fumble, he averaged 38 yards per reception, a deadly weapon, and this game's most valuable player. I suppose if the Chargers are gonna have a Super Bowl title in this resim, then it's only appropriate that the Falcons do too. For the first time, a resimmed rematch went to the loser of the real-life game, perhaps indicating that the Falcons should have won it all along. And like the Seahawks in Super Bowl 49, horrific play calling didn't rear its ugly head in this one, and the Atlanta Falcons are Super Bowl 51 champions. It's now 2017 and the NFL crowned a first-time Super Bowl champion in the Philadelphia Eagles. Philly, despite being the NFC's #1 seed, were underdogs in every single one of their playoff games. That's what hyper-focus on one single position will do when football is the ultimate team sport. This Super Bowl might be the one and only playoff game in which Patriots head coach Bill Belichick was properly outcoached. The Philly Special is a real-life thing. 1 year after the Rams moved to Los Angeles, the Chargers did so as well. This time, nobody cared. How many people still call them the San Diego Chargers? I know I certainly do from time to time. Let's now go ahead and take a look at these standings from 2017. The New England Patriots are looking at a few more shots of glory, and in doing so, dominate another sad division, going 13-3 and earning the #1 seed. The North is back to a Steelers and Ravens show. Pittsburgh takes the title at 12-4. At 11-5, Baltimore will have the top wild card. This was the season of the Saxonville Jaguars. The Jags went 12-4, winning the South Division, but have to settle for the #3 seed, having lost head-to-head to the Steelers during the season. Their first season in Los Angeles was a good one for the Chargers. They go 11-5 and win the division, while the Kansas City Chiefs have to settle for the wild card. Now in the NFC, our real-life Super Bowl champion Eagles struggle a little bit, but they still win the East at 11-5. It was the Minnesota Vikings who broke out in a big way, going 14-2, winning the North and easily taking down the #1 overall seed. Our defending Super Bowl champion Atlanta Falcons once again win the NFC South. They tied with the Saints and the two teams split their head-to-head, but Atlanta was much better in the division, going 4-2 against New Orleans' 2-4. Atlanta did lose the tiebreaker, however, to Philadelphia. The Eagles went 8-4 in conference, and the Falcons went 7-5. Philly gets the 3 seed, Atlanta is the 4. The Los Angeles Rams hired Sean McVay, and that turned them around in real life, and it did it here too. They went 12-4, get the #2 seed and the other first-round bye. Now we have here the 9-7 Brigade. All 5 of these teams finished 9-7 and tied for the #6 seed. We can eliminate the Dallas Cowboys from this equation because the Redskins swept them during the season. So with these 4 teams remaining, Washington went 7-5 in conference, the Lions and Seahawks each went 6-6, while the Buccaneers went 8-4. So they fight their way through that tiebreaker to claim the NFC's #6 seed. Okay, it's playoff time, and we've got ourselves yet another Chargers and Ravens playoff game. They've had a few over the years. This one, on the road, will go to Baltimore 24-17. In the other game, Saxonville did its thing with 8 sacks in a 20-11 victory over the Chiefs. Now, in real life, this game and the divisional round between the Steelers and the Jaguars was a big shootout that the Jaguars won. Over here, Pittsburgh was in control and took it down 28-14, while the Ravens put a scare into the Patriots before ultimately falling 27-24. So we had the exact same AFC Championship game as last year and the same result. If New England could have won. This one goes to Pittsburgh, 21-10. They were last in the Super Bowl in 2001. This is now going to be their first Super Bowl appearance under the head coaching tenure of Mike Tomlin. Now for the NFC, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers won that massive tiebreaker just to get smacked upside the head by the Philadelphia Eagles, while the New Orleans Saints ensure that there will be a new champion this season, skating by the Falcons. The Rams and the Vikings both got to host and both got easy wins. Minnesota over New Orleans, not needing the Minneapolis Miracle this time around. They're going to host the NFC Championship game, and the LA Rams came this close to turning a 3-13 team into a Super Bowl appearance, losing this game by a single point. So the Minnesota Vikings are off to the Super Bowl now for the 6th time in franchise history. Pittsburgh, their opponent, is making their 7th appearance. Their 11 total appearances between them beforehand never once landed a matchup between them. And this might not be the year that Pittsburgh wants it, because Super Bowl 52 is going to be held at US Bank Stadium, which happens to be the home field of the Minnesota Vikings. This has happened once before. Super Bowl 35 was played by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in their home stadium, but they lost. We're now ready for this game between the AFC champion Pittsburgh Steelers and the NFC champion Minnesota Vikings. The Vikings are looking to get a drive together early on, getting some motion going. Pittsburgh makes a change. Wholesale change made at the line by Minnesota, all leading to this handoff to Latavius Murray. He slices through the Pittsburgh defense, makes a nice move, and gets this down to the 35-yard line. After that 30-yard game, Minnesota feels like they're humming now. Case Keenum's going to drop back, find Adam Thielen. He gets away from his defender and is able to score the touchdown. So the Pittsburgh defense kind of falls apart there. Minnesota will take advantage, taking a 7-0 lead. Pittsburgh's got some offense too, though. They're at their own 31-yard line off the play action. Ben Roethlisberger finds Antonio Brown. He has to dive to make the catch. A better throw is probably a touchdown. But the Roethlisberger-Brown connection's not over yet. He makes this catch here at the 8-yard line before he goes down. After a knockback from the 19, Roethlisberger will find Antonio Brown again for the touchdown. For the second straight Super Bowl, we look to be having a shootout. This game is 7-7. Now Minnesota's taking its turn. They're at their own 38-yard line. Keenum gets taken down by Cam Hayward, and Hayward is not giving up on this play. He gets himself another one. We lost a little bit of the next footage. Pittsburgh had 2nd and 1 and 3rd and 1. Both times Le'Veon Bell was stuffed by Everson Griffin. That leads to this field goal by Chris Boswell, giving Pittsburgh a 10-7 lead. Now it's 3rd and 7 for the Vikings at the Pittsburgh 39-yard line. And this is once again Cam Hayward breaking through for the sack. So hold the line on the shootout here. We're getting some defense. Pittsburgh has it at the Minnesota 49. Little time left in the half. The Hail Mary attempt will not happen. Donnell Hunter gets the sack. So it's 10-7 now in the third quarter. Pittsburgh's got it on 3rd and 4. Le'Veon Bell is swallowed in the backfield. Now it's Minnesota with the ball. It's 3rd and 21. Pittsburgh showing blitz. Keenum makes a change at the line. This worked beautifully last time. Keenum is going to go to Kyle Rudolph here. He'll make the catch, but Pittsburgh's able to wrap him up and eventually take him down short of the line to gain. Now it's Pittsburgh's ball. It's still 10-7. Le'Veon Bell on the pitch is finally finding some space. picking up a nice gain inside the 40-yard line. The Steelers can't do anything on first and second down. Out of the shotgun on third down, Roethlisberger to Browns, incomplete. They're forced to punt. Minnesota's got a drive going, but it's 3rd and 11. Keenum wants to go back to Kyle Rudolph, and he'll make the catch. What a nice throw by Keenum, laying it right in place. He's going to go to Rudolph again. Rudolph, big and strong man there, shielding his defender and making the catch. They're at the 15-yard line. They can tie this game, but nuts to that, they said. Adam Thielen making only his 2nd catch of the game, but it's for another touchdown. Minnesota takes their first lead at 14-10. Pittsburgh's got 3rd down at their own 24. The offense has gone cold, and it's Everson Griffin with the sack, and we've just realized that we've spelled the man's name wrong. Now him and his teammates are coming after this punt. They almost block it. Marcus Sherrills takes it at the 46, gets a nice block, and winds up with a pretty good return. Minnesota's basically in scoring range already. Out of the shotgun from the 34, they waste no time. Thielen makes the catch. He's 3 for 3 in this game. Made 3 catches, and all 3 have gone for touchdowns. And now with time ticking away, they lead this game 21-10, and Pittsburgh's in dire straits. 3rd and 14 off the play action. Here comes Everson Griffin with an E, getting this sack. Pittsburgh is in absolute desperation on 4th down. They direct snap it to Le'Veon Bell. That doesn't work. Griffin will take him down for the safety. That makes this a 23-10 game. They take the kickoff and score another one. Minnesota wins this game 30-10. It took them till the 4th quarter, but once they got things going, they really got things going. The Minnesota Vikings become the first team to win the Super Bowl on their own home field. And leading the way was the man whose name we mistakenly misspelled. Well, it's not misspelled here, as Everson Griffin is your Super Bowl 52 MVP. We saw him play a crucial role in the end, notching those 2 sacks and scoring a safety. But he made some big plays early on as well, with 9 total tackles, 3 of those behind the line of scrimmage, including those 2 massive stops of Le'Veon Bell, where we unfortunately lost the footage. They may be 0 for the entire Super Bowl era, but here in the Resim, the Vikings are now in the 4 championships fraternity, becoming its 5th member. And they've won them in 3 different eras. Perhaps Minnesota is simply a happier place in a Resimulation, cause that purple rain feels oh so real. You might expect that the lowest scoring Super Bowl of all time took place during the 1970s, when defense ruled the day and rules were not skewed in favor of the offense. But no, the lowest scoring Super Bowl of all time took place right here after the 2018 season, when offensive football is essentially legislated. In this game, it was the Los Angeles Rams who lost after scoring less than 10% of their regular season average during that game, where if they had just scored half of their season average, that would have been enough to win. And who benefited from all this? I think we all know the answer to that. The same team that benefited in the AFC Championship game after a non sequitur offside call. The New England Patriots tie the Pittsburgh Steelers with Lombardi Trophy number 6, bringing this mini era known as the Silver Platter era to an end. And hey, if somebody wants to give me something, especially something I desire, whether I earned it or deserved it doesn't matter, I'm going to take it. I'm not mad at the Patriots, but I am going to call them out. The one thing worth mentioning here about the 2018 season, and especially the playoffs, is that the New Orleans Saints got monumentally screwed over. It's time to check out the 2018 NFL standings, and the award for least surprising thing ever goes to the AFC East being a terrible division, with New England being good and winning it at 12-4. Over in the North, the Ravens and the Steelers swap spots from last season. The Ravens win the division at 13-3, while the Steelers are in second place in a wild card spot at 11-5. The AFC South was competitive, but the Indianapolis Colts take the top spot, while the Houston Texans get their first ever wild card at 11-5. In real life, they only ever got their first wild card spot this past season in 2025. Now the Colts at 12-4 tied with the New England Patriots for the 3 seed, taking it on a head-to-head tiebreaker, so the Patriots get the number 4 seed. The Steelers and the Texans both went 8-4 in conference. Pittsburgh went 4-1, Houston went 3-2 against common opponents. So Houston's the 6, Pittsburgh's the 5. Over in the West, the Kansas City Chiefs debut a quarterback you may have heard of named Patrick Mahomes, and they promptly go 13-3. The 10-6 LA Chargers have to sit this one out. One last tiebreaker here, the Chiefs beat the Ravens head-to-head, so they will be the number 1 seed, the Ravens will be number 2. The NFC East had themselves a bunch of stragglers once again, but the Eagles are the best of the bunch, winning it at 10-6. The Green Bay Packers are heavyweights in the NFC North, going 13-3, while the Chicago Bears sneak out a wildcard spot at 9-7. The New Orleans Saints are certainly not slouching. They go 13-3 themselves to win the NFC South, and 13-3 is the record to have as the Seattle Seahawks ascend back to the top of the West, while the LA Rams at 12-4 have to settle for the wild card. The 3 teams that tied at 13-3 are the Saints, Seahawks, and Packers. New Orleans was the best of the bunch in conference, going 10-2. They get the number 1 seed. The Seahawks and the Packers tied at the conference level at 9-3, so they now drop down to head-to-head, where the Packers beat the Seahawks during the season. So they're the 2, and Seattle's the 3. It's now playoff time, and the New England Patriots do show their championship grit. Their 3rd straight season matching up with the Steelers in the playoffs, and they get the victory here. And while the Indianapolis Colts may have won their division, the Houston Texans win this game. They advance to the divisional round, where the Kansas City Chiefs were waiting for them, and they drop the hammer, while the Baltimore Ravens outlast the Patriots. So just like in real life, the Kansas City Chiefs are going to host the AFC Championship game. In this one, D4 did not jump offside, but they will take the L once again. By the way, the Baltimore Ravens debuted their own quarterback this season that you may have heard of named Lamar Jackson. He ran for 166 yards in this AFC title game as the Baltimore Ravens are back in the Super Bowl. Now over in the NFC, both wildcard games were close, but they were both won by the NFC West team. Seattle over Chicago at home, and the Rams over the Eagles on the road. We are now getting a New Orleans LA rematch. This was in the real-life NFC Championship game, and of course was where the NOLA no call happened, which sent the Rams essentially into the Super Bowl. Now, it's amazing sometimes how art can imitate life. That game went to overtime tied at 23-23. This one goes to overtime tied at 24-24. That game was won on a field goal. This game was won on a field goal. But this time, it's the Saints getting the win. An unbelievable 27-24 final score. In the other game, the Seattle Seahawks go on the road to beat the Packers. So they're back in another NFC Championship game. On the road this time, the Saints are officially feeling it. They're too much for Seattle. They take them out hard, and they themselves are now back in the Super Bowl. In this matchup, we're having the same issue as we do. The Baltimore Ravens are not in Tecmo Super Bowl III. So we've got to dress them up in the uniforms of somebody else. Using the 3-4 defense, they're going to be in the uniforms of the Pittsburgh Steelers. We've got a brand spanking new stadium to host this Super Bowl matchup. It's the Mercedes-Benz Stadium in the old ATL. We're ready for this game. It's the AFC champion Baltimore Ravens and the NFC champion New Orleans Saints. The Saints force a quick 3-and-out and take possession at their own 42-yard line. Drew Brees out of the shotgun goes deep to Michael Thomas, makes the catch despite the multiple people covering him. They've now got it at the 32. The pitch goes to Alvin Kamara. He goes down the sideline. They finally catch up to him, and they will get him down at the 5-yard line. That's just going to lead to this touchdown pass to Michael Thomas. The Saints defense stepped up to start the game, and the offense follows suit. They get out to a 7-0 lead. Of course, the Ravens have plenty of offense too. They've now crept into Saints territory. Lamar Jackson tries to take off running, but is stopped by Sheldon Rankins. On the next play, this is Cameron Jordan getting in for the sack. So the O-line of the Ravens is having some trouble. The Saints take back possession with time remaining in the first quarter. Here on the delayed route, Michael Thomas beats two different defenders, drags himself inside the 30-yard line. That's a first down, and on the next play, this perfect pass by Breeze past the outstretched defender goes to Thomas for the touchdown. His second of the quarter. The extra point's no good. It remains 13-0. The Saints force another punt, but now the Ravens are going to force the punt. Thomas Morstead is barely able to get this one off. It's going to land in the arms of Cyrus Jones at the 23-yard line. He's getting himself a decent return until he gets hit. The ball is loose. It's picked up by the Saints. We've got ourselves a big man touchdown. Andrews Pete. I'll bet he wasn't expecting that when he woke up this morning. He rumbles in for the touchdown, and now the lead is 20-0. The Ravens have it at their own 20. It's 3rd and 11. The O-line breaks down once again. Sheldon Rankins goes in for his second sack. The Saints have a little bit of time left in the first half. They go to Michael Thomas, and he's going to just make it to the 1-yard line. The Ravens take him down from there. Alvin Kamara is able to punch it in for the touchdown. It's now 27-0 as we enter the second half, and it's New Orleans ball to start. They go straight back to Thomas. He gets by the defenders again, spins away, and gets held up at the 3-yard line. Kamara scores it from here. They get the ball back again. Kamara scores from the 1-yard line. This game turned into an avalanche of points for the Saints. Baltimore saved their blushes a little in the fourth quarter with a field goal, but our final score is Saints 55, Ravens 3. Can you say redemption? They lost an opportunity to clinch their spot in the real Super Bowl 53 when a blatant pass interference call was not made. Nothing was stopping the Saints in this one, and nothing was stopping the MVP of this game, Michael Thomas. He caught all 12 of his targets for 232 yards. We saw his 2 first-quarter touchdowns, and he added a third before it was all over. And when the Saints make it to the Super Bowl, their star wideout puts out an MVP performance. Many Saints fans will feel that this should have been the end result for the 2018 season. Many non-Saints fans will feel that way as well. We didn't get that opportunity to find out in the real timeline, but this resim gives us a glimpse of what could have been. A 55-3 beatdown of a good Ravens team in Super Bowl 53 makes for quite a glimpse, and the New Orleans Saints are now 2-time Super Bowl champions. This was the NFL's 100th season, and like the 75th anniversary season, the NFL here in 2019 wasn't going to let it go by without letting us know about it. And hey, it worked. There's a reason the NFL is this nation's most watched sports league and is the world's most successfully financial league. And in 2019, Baltimore Ravens quarterback Lamar Jackson had arguably the single greatest overall quarterbacking season in those 100 years. In the Super Bowl, we had our second Shanahaning as the San Francisco 49ers blew an 11-point fourth quarter lead to the Kansas City Chiefs. This was the Chiefs' first ever AFC championship, and it was their first Super Bowl victory in 50 years. Let's see how this 100th NFL season looks in the standings. The AFC East mixed things up a little this season. They had 2 good teams and 2 absolute crap teams. The Patriots win the division at 13-3, while Buffalo is good enough for 11-5 and a wild card spot. The Baltimore Ravens were sensational during the real 2019 season, going 14-2, but being one of the best one-and-done teams of all time. They're perhaps even better this season, ending at 15-1, sitting at 12-0 at one point before losing at Buffalo, earning themselves the #1 overall seed. Who beat Baltimore in the playoffs that year? That would be the Tennessee Titans, and they're in the playoffs this year as division champions of the South. They're 12-4, while the Indianapolis Colts grabbed the wild card at 10-6. And over in the West, the Kansas City Chiefs are 14-2, which is only good enough for the #2 seed. And incidentally, the Patriots at 13-3 are only good enough for the #3 seed. We had ourselves a competitive NFC this season, starting in the East where the Cowboys win it at 12-4, while the Eagles are a no-go for the playoffs at 10-6. The Minnesota Vikings are a year away after their Super Bowl win. They're back on top now at 12-4. Our current reigning champion, New Orleans Saints, tie atop the NFC South with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, both teams going 12-4. In our resim, Jameis Winston drastically cut down on the turnovers. The Saints did sweep the Buccaneers head-to-head though, so Tampa has to settle for the wildcard spot. And over in the West, we have the rise of the San Francisco 49ers, going 13-3 and grabbing the #1 overall seed. Their first playoff appearance in 6 years, and their first division title in 8 years. The Rams are going to grab that last wild card. We had no tiebreakers needed in the AFC. We've already had one for the South here in the NFC, and now we have a 3-way tie for the #2 seed. The Cowboys defeated both the Saints and the Vikings this year, so it goes to them. For the #3 seed, the Saints and Vikings both went 10-2 in conference and 4-1 against their common opponents. However, the Saints did have a massive advantage in strength of victory, 90-102 against Minnesota's 72-120. Saints are the 3, Vikings are the 4. It's time to figure out what two teams are heading to this season's Super Bowl. Over in the AFC, the Patriots beat the Colts 13-6 in a game where 0 offensive touchdowns were scored. And the Tennessee Titans keep the magic alive with a victory over the Buffalo Bills. They'll see if that magic continues against the Baltimore Ravens. They do put up a bunch of points, yet still lose by 18, so no big upset here. While Kansas City smacks New England around in a little bit of vengeance from the previous season's real AFC Championship game. So we have, speaking of the AFC Championship game, Baltimore versus Kansas City for the second straight time. This time the game's in Baltimore, and after a back and forth affair, it is the Ravens who win it again, heading back to the Super Bowl for the second straight season, in the process redeeming their real 2019 campaign. Now in the NFC, no bad refereeing required here. The Rams are able to knock off the Saints, while the Vikings just do get by the Buccaneers. In the divisional round, the 49ers complete a 3-game sweep of the Rams, while the Vikings knock off the Cowboys, preventing a historical 49ers-Cowboys NFC Championship game. We'll instead get Minnesota and San Francisco, and while Minnesota could not handle the Niners in the real-life divisional round, well, they couldn't handle them here either. The Niners win it 31-16, matching their real-life 2019 NFC title. They're back in the Super Bowl for the first time since 1995, which is incidentally the last NFL season that did not have the Baltimore Ravens. We've mentioned Baltimore's redemption, but they're also looking to redeem the blowout they received in last season's resimmed Super Bowl. It's their third Super Bowl appearance in 6 years, and for the third time, maybe the third time's the charm, we're putting them in the uniforms of the Pittsburgh Steelers. I can't remember if this is another new name for this stadium, and I'm not going to bother looking it up. This is Hard Rock Stadium in Miami, Florida, where we're going to get this game between the AFC champion Baltimore Ravens and the NFC champion San Francisco 49ers. The Niners have it first and are looking to get moving from their own 38-yard line. Jimmy Garoppolo is going to go to mid-season acquisition Emmanuel Sanders. He's able to connect with him. They get the ball down inside the 30-yard line. They've now got it at the 6, facing a second down. Garoppolo drops back. He's going to look for all-world tight end George Kittle, he gets into the end zone. Touchdown 49ers, they're out to a 7-0 lead. Baltimore's not in a real familiar position here, playing from behind. From the 49er 46, Lamar looks like he's going to run. He'll instead lift this pass to Marquise Brown. The threat of Lamar scrambling hurts the Niners secondary there. They're now at the 21-yard line. Jackson goes straight up the seam to Mark Andrews. What a throw! The two superstar tight ends have exchanged touchdowns. We're tied up at 7 apiece. The Niners are now on the move once again. Just inside Ravens territory on a 2nd and 1, they're gonna throw. The pressure comes, the ball gets out, and it's Deebo Samuel climbing the ladder to make the catch. Gets taken down at the 20-yard line. Nothing doing on 1st and 2nd down. Here on 3rd down, out of the shotgun, the blitz comes again. The pass to Samuel is incomplete. So Robbie Gould will come out for the 38-yard field goal. He puts it through. The Niners retake the lead at 10-7. Now the Ravens facing a 3rd and 14. Jackson out of the shotgun. Goes across the middle. Marquise Brown makes a great catch and is just enough for the 1st down. That keeps the drive moving. They're now at the 19-yard line. Jackson has time in the pocket. Goes to Willie Snead. Puts it where only Snead can catch it. A diving catch for the touchdown. Baltimore doesn't settle for the field goal. They lead this game 14-10. The Niners take their turn at their own 28-yard line. Here comes the blitz. They're able to get him. It's Jalen Ferguson stripping it loose. He picks the ball up and he's going to run it back to inside the 1-yard line. Lamar flips this pass to Willie Snead. Touchdown number 2 for him. The Niners tried to score before the end of the first half, but instead concede. Now Baltimore leads 21-10 and start the second half with the ball. They're already at midfield. Jackson has time, goes deep to his other tight end, Hayden Hurst. There's nobody within his zip code. It seemed like 2 seconds ago the Niners led this game 10-7. All of a sudden now, they trail 28-10. It's only the 3rd quarter, but they feel like they're in desperation mode. From the 31, Garoppolo goes downfield. Deebo Samuel makes the catch. He's good after the catch. He's inside the 20 and they get him down at the 12. But they have to settle for a field goal. This is dangerous. It's short and it's on the lower hash. It's a voodoo thing in this game and Robbie Gould misses the kick. It remains 28-10. The Ravens push the Niners back. They've got it at their own 6-yard line. They're going to run a reverse to Samuel. He's good in these situations, but Chuck Clark meets him, knocks it loose. The Ravens have a chance to score on defense, but for the 2nd time, they're down inside the 1, and Willie Snead cleans up. That's a touchdown. Raheem Mostert runs this ball. Matt Judon forces the ball loose. The Ravens are going to recover this one here eventually. They've got it at the 20. From here, Lamar Jackson's going to keep it himself. He's had a great game running the ball. We just haven't seen it on the highlights. The Ravens have climbed all over the Niners now. What was looking like a close game is an absolute blowout. It's 42-10. The Niners score a cosmetic touchdown in the end. Our final score, the Ravens win it 42-16. The 49ers were looking for Super Bowl championship number 6 to extend their record, but instead, they take their first ever Super Bowl loss. This Ravens team was just too good, and one of the primary reasons for that was the play of this man who was unsurprisingly named Super Bowl MVP, quarterback / force of nature Lamar Jackson. 233 passing yards, 5 touchdowns, 88 rushing yards, an additional touchdown, 0 turnovers. When he is on his game, there is no defense for him. A true one-of-a-kind player whose career we are lucky to witness. The Baltimore Ravens served at the expense of the New Orleans Saints redemption story last season, getting annihilated in Super Bowl 53. They showed their mettle with this bounce-back season, though, landing their own redemption season with their own annihilation in Super Bowl 54, capping off one of the greatest resim seasons of the entire Super Bowl era. Now, I'm not going to go too deep into detail on this one. We all know what the 2020 NFL season was. We ain't playing that game in this resim. All players are going to be available for every week if they played a majority of the 2020 season, and will only be missing games if they get injured on the field. For the third time during the Super Bowl era, the Raiders moved, this time to Las Vegas, where they somehow still remain. Perhaps it'll be around the year 2042 where they make a move to Myrtle Beach. The NFL added another wildcard team this year, giving us 3 wildcard teams for the first time since the 2001 season. But of course, we still have 4 divisions. That means 7 teams now make the playoffs from each conference, with only the number 1 overall seed getting a bye week. Oh yes, Super Bowl 55, perhaps the lowest quality game in Super Bowl history. It was won 31-9 by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers over the depleted and travel-weary Kansas City Chiefs. A proper 2020 season's gonna give us proper 2020 standings. With a better playing field, the New England Patriots are a playoff team this year at 10-6, but they remain stuck behind the true emergence of the Buffalo Bills, who finished 13-3 and win the East. The Pittsburgh Steelers were awesome this season, also going 13-3, losing out on a tiebreaker to the Buffalo Bills based on head-to-head. The Bills take the 2, the Steelers take the 3, while the Cleveland Browns take the top wildcard spot at 11-5. The Indianapolis Colts are going to win the South at 11-5. Now, we saw the Patriots and the Ravens at 10-6 making the playoffs, while no such invitation is extended to the Titans. All 3 teams went 7-5 in the conference, and there's no way to settle common opponents between the 3. So it goes to strength of victory. The Patriots are best at 70-90, Ravens at 60-99-1, and the Titans are worst at 56-86-2. That means the first ever AFC number 7 seed goes to the reigning Super Bowl champion Baltimore Ravens. And it's all Kansas City in the West, going 14-2 again. This time, though, that's good enough for the number 1 seed. Washington wins another lackluster East, at least doing so with a winning record of 10-6 after doing so at 7-9 in real life. They ditched the Redskins nickname this season and couldn't come up with a new one for 2 years, so they're the Washington football team. We just went ahead and put them in the Commanders' helmet logo. The Green Bay Packers were disappointed to miss the playoffs in 2019, so they rampaged their way to a 14-2 division title and a number 1 seed this year. The top of the South is the same as in real life, with New Orleans in first and Tampa Bay in second, but the Saints will have the number 2 seed this time around. The Seattle Seahawks win the West, not so convincing at 11-5, but the 2 9-7 teams here both make the playoffs. They swept head-to-head. The Rams were 4-2 in the division, the Cardinals were 3-3. So the Cardinals become the NFC's first ever number 7 seed. We had to squeeze in another bracket for the wild card round in our playoff graphic here. It does look a little wonky, but it's gonna do. All we did was stick the 7 seed on the top. In the wild card round, none of these games were close. Buffalo, Pittsburgh, and Indianapolis all won at home. The home teams do it again in the divisional round. Buffalo over Pittsburgh by 11, Kansas City over Indianapolis by 18. Our first ever 7-team AFC playoff field was all chalk. The Kansas City Chiefs beat the Buffalo Bills 37-20. Every single one of these games were also decided by double digits. After losing the last 2 AFC championship games, the Chiefs are back in the Super Bowl for the second time under Andy Reid, after being the 3rd victim in the Seahawks three-peat 5 years earlier. It wasn't all chalk in the NFC. Tampa Bay won on the road in Washington, as they did in real life, while Seattle and New Orleans got themselves some easy wins. We've got Tampa at Green Bay, which was the real-life NFC Championship game. This is a different story. There's some weather involved, and there's actually fans in the stadium. The Packers stop a late 2-pointer, preserving a 24-22 victory. The Saints had a steady and solid victory over the Seahawks, giving us 1 versus 2, just like we had in the AFC. And just like in the AFC, the home team won. Green Bay goes up 28-21 in an almost chalk NFC. We now have a Super Bowl matchup of both number 1 seeds, the real-life AFC winner and the real-life NFC runner-up. This Super Bowl goes to a completely sold-out Raymond James Stadium in Tampa, Florida. This is the matchup of the real-life Super Bowl I, the AFC champion Kansas City Chiefs against the NFC champion Green Bay Packers. Green Bay is going to get the first crack at this. They're at their own 22-yard line. They're going to run Aaron Jones off right tackle, spins away from a couple of Chief defenders, gets down to midfield where he breaks another tackle. A good run here by Aaron Jones, getting it down to the 30-yard line. He continues to be the focal point as they get this down to the 12. And with all that running, it opens up the passing game. Aaron Rodgers goes to Devontae Adams. Green Bay, very efficient on their first drive, gets on the board. They lead 7-0. You know the Chiefs are coming with a response. Patrick Mahomes is under center, second down from their own 21-yard line. He drops back, goes to Tyreek Hill. The Cheetah gets past midfield. They give chase and catch him. And it's Adrian Amos who knocks the ball loose, giving Green Bay the ball with a 7-0 lead. They've got a 3rd and 10. The Chiefs look like they want to bring the blitz. Rodgers checks into a different play. The blitz comes and they're able to get him down. So the Chiefs defense gets them the ball back. Now in the second quarter, Kansas City's at the Green Bay 38-yard line. Mahomes goes across the middle to Travis Kelce. The Packers grab a hold of him at the 7-yard line, but he drags his way all the way in for the touchdown. What a response by the Chiefs there after almost falling behind by 2 scores. This game is tied up at 7 apiece. Now Green Bay, they want to stick with the run, and why not? It's been working so well. This draw to Aaron Jones up the middle, goes through several defenders and gets it down inside the 30. Jones is almost at 100 yards rushing already. They set up now at the 10-yard line. The pitch goes to Jones. He's on the outside, and he gets in for the touchdown. A well-deserved score for Jones. He has been the star of the show. They now lead this game 14-7. Kansas City has some time remaining in the first half. Out of the shotgun, Patrick Mahomes wants to run it himself. He finds the sideline. He's got some speed. The Packers are going to finally get him down, but not until he's cleared 30 yards on this run. 31 yards to be exact. It's now 3rd and 10, not really field goal range. They do pick up a first down here with Travis Kelce. That's going to bring Harrison Butker out for the field goal. He's going to make it. We have the exact same halftime score as we did in Super Bowl I. Green Bay leads 14-10. The Chiefs start with the ball this time. It's 3rd and 7. Mahomes wants to run, stops and throws. Tyreek Hill makes the catch. This is a foot race to the end zone, and Hill's going to win most, if not all of those. What a start to the second half for the Chiefs. 74 yards on the touchdown from Patrick Mahomes to Tyreek Hill. They've got their first lead. Mitigating that somewhat, though, is Green Bay forcing Butker to miss this extra point. So 16-14 is going to be our score. The Packers want to get the lead back. They've got a pretty good tight end of their own. Rodgers finds Robert Tonyan up the seam. Nice game. Some bad news for Green Bay, though. A couple of plays later, they suffer an injury, and it's the one guy they don't want to see injured today. Aaron Jones is out of the game. His replacement is A.J. Dillon. They've got it down to the 3-yard line. Dillon gets the direct snap, but goes right down. Mason Crosby kicks this field goal. It will give the Packers the lead at 17-16. Now it's Kansas City from their own 15. The quick pass goes to Hill. Catches it in perfect stride. They're going to catch up to him here. He's going to hold on to the ball this time. A 56-yard gain. Hill's going to score the touchdown a few plays later. The Mahomes to Hill show was first rate here in the third quarter. Kansas City takes the lead back at 23-17. We're now into fourth quarter. Green Bay wants to get the lead back. They go to A.J. Dillon. He will fumble the ball here. Tyrann Mathieu, the Honey Badger, forces it loose. The Chiefs recover in the Packer red zone. They've got it at the 18-yard line. It's second down. Mahomes throws quickly to Mecole Hardman. He makes the catch and just misses, getting into the end zone. Clyde Edwards-Helaire will get the job done on the next play. After the turnover and the touchdown, we've got our first two-score lead of the game. The Chiefs have it 30-17. Green Bay's moved it, but they're facing a 4th and 5. They go to Dillon. He's wrapped up. He's able to break a tackle, but he's still short of the first down. The Chiefs run it right down to the 1, where once again, Edwards-Helaire gets the touchdown. This was a close game, but it's fallen apart at the seams for the Packers. They trail 37-17. They're able to pull one back before it's over, to no avail. The Chiefs win this one 37-24. Losing Aaron Jones hurt for the Packers, no question, but that Kansas City offense was a freight train, gaining steam with a better performance across each quarter for the entire game. It was a tough call for MVP, but the complete lack of turnovers gives the nod to Patrick Mahomes over Tyreek Hill. Mahomes threw for 340 yards and 3 touchdowns, 2 of those to Hill, while adding 60 yards rushing on just 5 carries. Exactly 400 yards of total offense. Yeah, that's pretty good. The Chiefs won Super Bowl IV in real life, so they weren't completely bereft of championships at this point in history. The resim had been less kind, with Kansas City losing 3 Super Bowls before finally breaking through for a championship number 1 here in 2020. 2021 was a bit better than the 2020 season as far as protocols go, but not really by a whole lot. The 2021 postseason gave us perhaps the biggest crapshoot in all of NFL playoff history. 2025 could have rivaled it if we didn't wind up with a 1 seed and a 2 seed in the Super Bowl. This Super Bowl gave us a 4 seed against a 4 seed. All of this might be because the NFL expanded its schedule for the first time since 1978. We now have a 17-game regular season, where one conference gets an extra home game one season, and another conference gets that extra home game a different season. I can't prove any of that, it's just conjecture on my part. We did wind up with a Cincinnati Bengals LA Rams Super Bowl, which on paper did not have the highest quality teams, but in practice gave us a pretty entertaining game. The Rams won it, leaving the Bengals to wish they never again have to face a team from the state of California in a Super Bowl. Everybody's playing 17 games now. Let's check out the 2021 standings. The Buffalo Bills win the East once again at 14-3 and get the number 1 seed, while the New England Patriots are a solid wild card at 12-5. The North is a bit lacking, but Cincinnati actually improves their record from 10-7 to 11-6 to once again win it. In real life, the Tennessee Titans were the number 1 seed this year. However, they will miss the playoffs as the Indianapolis Colts take the division at 12-5. And the AFC West was a strong division, but once again it goes to Kansas City at 13-4. The Chargers and the Broncos claim the last 2 wildcard spots. The only tiebreaker necessary in the AFC this year was for the number 5 seed. The Chargers get it over the Patriots based on head-to-head. In the NFC East, the Dallas Cowboys have turned back the clock. They were awesome this year at 14-3, grabbing the conference's number 1 seed. The Eagles were 4 games back at 10-7, but still landed themselves a wildcard berth. The Green Bay Packers will win the weak NFC North. Hey, they'll take it. They're 11-5. They're off to the playoffs. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are the last team standing in a bad NFC South, but they are excellent from top to bottom. They go 13-4. As the AFC West was strong, so too was the NFC West. The 49ers finished last place with a positive point differential. It's the Arizona Cardinals who win it at 12-5. Then the champion Rams are 11-6, followed by the 10-7 Seattle Seahawks. They all make the playoffs. Speaking of playoffs, it's now that time. We've got a different era of Patriots versus Colts. Still a good game though. The Patriots go to Indianapolis and win it. Kansas City smashes Denver while the Chargers win at Cincinnati. So the AFC is going to need a new champion this year. We've got a battle of the West and a battle of the East. In the West, the Kansas City Chiefs slip by the Chargers while Buffalo takes care of New England. So the Chiefs are now in their 4th straight AFC Championship game, and for the second time, they're getting a rematch. This one's against Buffalo, and this time it's in Buffalo. They take a 21-14 lead into the 4th quarter, at which point their defense capitulated. The Chiefs score 3 times in the 4th, win this game 35-21, and the defending Super Bowl champions are now back in the Super Bowl. On the NFC side of things, we needed a tiebreaker to settle the number 6 seed between the Seahawks and the Eagles. They were both 7-4 in conference and 4-1 against common opponents. They both had very weak strength of victories, but Seattle's was better, 66-104 to the Eagles 59-111. Seattle's the 6, Philly's the 7, but both teams go ahead and lose anyway. Seattle to Arizona and Philly to Tampa, although Philly did keep it really close. It's in the other game where we get something fun. The Rams go on the road to beat Green Bay, and then they keep it going by upsetting the number 1 seeded Dallas Cowboys in Jerry World. Tampa gets by Arizona to now set up this rematch of the real-life divisional round, where the Rams blew a huge lead to Tampa before getting it back and winning. Tampa controlled this one though, winning it 28-17, getting to the Super Bowl when they did not do so in the real 2021 season. And what we're getting here is a matchup of the real Super Bowl 55. Here though, both teams are going to be intact and playing a proper game of football. And the LA Rams just missed hosting this game. For the first time, the Super Bowl is going to be played at the $5.5 billion SoFi Stadium. It's also the first time the Super Bowl is being played on the 2nd Sunday of February. We've got this matchup ready to go. The AFC champion Kansas City Chiefs and the NFC champion Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This game has started off defensively. The Chiefs have it 3rd and 6 in their own territory. They're going to run a reverse to Tyreek Hill, and that might loosen things up. Hill certainly has the speed, but he shows some moves as well, getting this down to the 30-yard line. They're now at the 23, facing a 3rd and 3. Mahomes is going to drop back, looks for Hill. He's got a step on his defender. Mahomes lays it off perfectly, and with a little time remaining in the 1st quarter, we've got our first score of the game. The Chiefs take a 7-0 lead. The Buccaneers have now gotten their offense into gear. In the 2nd quarter, they're at the 23-yard line. Tom Brady is going to look for Mike Evans, makes a diving catch, fighting for yardage, but will go down at the 1-yard line. From here, it's playoff Lenny. Leonard Fournette gets in for the score. So after a defensive start, the two teams have now exchanged touchdowns. We're tied up at 7 apiece. We remain in the 2nd quarter. The Chiefs have now gotten it to the Tampa 25. They run a draw play to Darrell Williams. He's getting some good yardage, but that's Shaquille Barrett knocking the ball loose, and Tampa Bay has recovered. So not only have they stopped the Chiefs from scoring before the half ends, they've got a chance to do it themselves. From their own 29, Brady is going to throw this to a wide open Chris Godwin. The Chiefs take some bad tackling angles, and they're able to get him down at the 14-yard line. Tampa's going to have a couple of shots here at the end zone. From the 14, Brady looks to Godwin in the end zone, but he overthrows him. A wasted opportunity there. Ryan Suckup does get him 3 points though, and for the 2nd straight Super Bowl, the Chiefs are going to be trailing at the half. They've got the ball. Wide receiver Mecole Hardman lined up in the backfield. They pitch it to him, and this Chiefs team has plenty of speed. Mecole runs it down inside the 15-yard line. From that spot now, we're at the 12. Mahomes is going to drop back. He's going to run. He gets it inside the 1-yard line before going down. He's going to call his own number on the next play, taking it outside and in for the score. The Chiefs temporarily gave up the lead. They've now taken it back at 14-10. You know Tampa Bay has something in mind. They've got it at their own 15-yard line. The Chiefs are lined up in the dime, yet they've somehow lost track of Chris Godwin. Brady's gonna spot him, throw it deep. Godwin makes the catch. There's nobody there. Godwin is gonna skate into the end zone. An 85-yard touchdown reception, setting a new Resim Super Bowl record. The Buccaneers lead 17-14. Kansas City will not be shocked by this, though. They've gotten it to the 40-yard line. Mahomes is going to run. No, he stops and fires. Mecole Hardman in stride makes the catch for the score. So the Chiefs could have been downed by that long touchdown. They get one of their own. They're back in the lead at 21-17. A little bit of time remains in the third quarter. From inside the 50, Brady goes to Rob Gronkowski. It's incomplete. We switch sides to the fourth quarter, and they're going to be going for it on 4th and 3. They run a reverse to Mike Evans, and it's going to work. Some great blocking and a good move by Evans. Gets a good gain here to the 24-yard line. The drive continues. They face third down once again. 3rd and 4. The blitz comes, and they get him down. That's Chris Jones with the sack. Down by 4 points, Tampa will settle for the 45-yard field goal attempt. Ryan Succop's already made one today, but he's going to miss this one. So now Kansas City has it with a 4-point lead. They can kill a lot of this clock here. They're at their own 34-yard line. They're going to keep it in the air. Mahomes goes short to Byron Pringle. He makes the catch and gets it into Tampa territory. They now once again try the reverse to Hill, and it worked before. It's going to work again. He's got a first down, and quite a bit more here. He gets this all the way down to the 10. That was going to be a good gain. He turned it into a great one. It's now 3rd and goal from the 7. They keep it in the air again. No, Mahomes is going to run. They track him down this time. Harrison Butker's going to kick this field goal. That's going to make this a 7-point game. The Bucs now need to go on the march. Tom Brady and this offense are going to play it very smart. Short, consistent passes to Chris Godwin, picking up some good yardage here. No need to try anything crazy. Tyler Johnson across the middle here. Efficient football. They've got it, though, at the 39-yard line on a 3rd and 10. They're going to run Fournette. Nobody expected it, and Fournette takes advantage, getting the first down. The drive stays alive. They're at the 28-yard line, 1:06 to go. Brady is going to throw the crosser to Godwin, makes the catch, escapes defenders, and gets it down to the 1-yard line. Can the Chiefs pull off a goal line stand here? The first down pitch to Fournette, stopped for a loss. The second down, reverse to Evans. The Chiefs were wise to it this time. They get the stop. They're going to fake the reverse to Fournette and lose yardage again. So it comes to 4th down from the 5. The Chiefs leave the middle of the field open. Rob Gronkowski by himself scores the touchdown with 2 seconds remaining. It's 24-23. Will they kick the extra point? Will they go for 2? They will kick it. Oh, I thought they might take advantage of the momentum they just built up, but they will take the safe option. Ryan Succop absolutely puts it through, and for the first time in our resimmed history, we've got a Super Bowl that's going to overtime, tied at 24 apiece. We will remind you that this is sudden death overtime. There is no possession-based nothing. Whoever scores first wins. Here's the overtime coin toss. Tom Brady's never lost a coin toss in his overtime career. He doesn't lose one here. The Bucs pretend like they're going to kick it off, but they don't. They take it. They've got a 2nd and 12 at their own 28. Out of the shotgun, the pass to Gronkowski is incomplete. The Chiefs defense will be looking for a big stop here on 3rd and 12. They're going to keep it on the ground to Fournette. It surprised them last time. It doesn't this time. So Tampa punts it away. They get a pretty good punt. KC takes over at their own 28. Mahomes is going to call his own number again, and he's able to get a first down and a little bit more out past the 40-yard line. They've got it first down. 4 wide receivers. Mahomes drops back, quickly tosses it to Hill, makes the diving catch inside the 40-yard line. This is the edge of outside field goal range from the 37. They're going to run Williams. Williams is going to pick up some good yardage here. In much better range now. It's 3rd and 1. They're going to try Williams again. Tampa collapses and stops him. So here we go. Harrison Butker is going to come out for a 48-yard field goal to win the Super Bowl. Tampa gets no rush. Butker puts his legs through it. It is up. It is good. The Kansas City Chiefs go to overtime and win Super Bowl 56, 27-24. Maybe this is what we would have gotten in the real Super Bowl 55 had it been a proper game. What a contest between these two where there wasn't really a loser, just two teams who couldn't stay tied forever. In 55 seasons of the Resim, we have had only 2 repeat Super Bowl MVPs. We have our 3rd now, but our first ever in back-to-back Super Bowls. Patrick Mahomes sets the new standard, just getting by 300 yards passing with that last overtime completion to Tyreek Hill, tossing 2 touchdown passes and adding 1 on the ground with 57 yards rushing. Of course, that also means that the Kansas City Chiefs have won their 2nd straight Super Bowl, only the 4th such occasion that we've had, and the first AFC team to do so. When the Chiefs did this in real life, funnily enough in the 2 seasons following these 2 seasons, they became the 8th team to do so, marking the 9th separate occurrence. We've seen a three-peat already. With the 2022 Chiefs winning the real thing, could we see another? If it can be done again, it would be these Kansas City Chiefs. Super Bowl 40 in 2005 was controversial. Super Bowl 57 in 2022 was even more controversial, and this time, that controversy may have altered the outcome of the game. It's not quite as cut and dry as that, but the field conditions and some interesting penalty calls at least put that question out there. It definitely made for a bad look, especially considering that the Kansas City Chiefs and the Philadelphia Eagles were both worthy Super Bowl champions. In the end, it was the Kansas City Chiefs who took the crown. Let's now take a look at these 2022 NFL standings. The AFC East was absolute fire. Everybody had a positive point differential, while only the Dolphins had a losing record and will miss the playoffs. Buffalo, New England went 1-2 again, Buffalo going 14-3, winning the division and grabbing the number 1 seed, while the New England Patriots are 12-5 and for the 3rd straight season are a wild card entry. Even the Jets get through here at 10-7, their first playoff appearance since winning the division 13 seasons ago. The AFC North will give us our last wildcard team in the Baltimore Ravens, while the Cincinnati Bengals are excellent, going 13-4 to win the division. The AFC South hit the skids. We have a losing team on top, the 8-9 Jacksonville Jaguars, 2 games clear of everybody else. With that division title, they are the number 4 seed. And our 2-time defending champion Kansas City Chiefs are back at it, going 13-4 to win the West. They tied with the Bengals, but Cincinnati got them during the regular season, giving Cincy the number 2 seed, meaning the Chiefs are going to have to advance out of the number 3 seed. Over in the NFC East, the Eagles and the Cowboys swap spots, with the Eagles having a major breakthrough, finishing first place at 15-2 and grabbing the number 1 seed. Dallas was still great though, at 12-5, they'll be in the playoffs. The New York Jets broke a long playoff drought, but so too have the Detroit Lions, going 11-6 and winning the division for the first time since 2013. The Minnesota Vikings are able to slip into the playoffs as the number 7 seed. The AFC South gave us a losing division champion. So too this season will the NFC South, and in absolute first we have 2 losing teams in the playoffs during a full season, and it's going to be the New Orleans Saints, also at 8-9, and also by virtue of that division title, the number 4 seed. The battle for the NFC West was quite reminiscent of 2013. The 49ers and Seahawks battle it out, It's the Niners taking it at 13-4. Seattle at 12-5 is the wild card. They tie with Dallas, and this is a very important tiebreaker for the number 5 seed to see who gets to play the Saints. It came down to conference record. It was Dallas 8-4, Seattle 7-5. So it's Dallas going to New Orleans and Seattle going to Detroit. In the AFC playoffs, the Kansas City Chiefs begin the march to a three-peat, but the pavement under their feet gave way. They lose at home to the Baltimore Ravens 34-31. The Patriots get by the Jaguars while the Bengals hammer the Jets. Now in the divisional round, the Cincinnati-New England game is much more competitive. In fact, it went to overtime, where it was won by Money Mac Evan McPherson, sending the Bengals to the AFC Championship game against the Buffalo Bills, who destroyed the Ravens 44-8 in what would be a scoregami. The Bills are now in their third consecutive AFC Championship game, hosting the Bengals, and this game was a fight. It went to overtime, where it was won by the Bengals, 26-20, making Cincinnati the first team in our resim to win 2 playoff games in overtime in the same season. They are back to the Super Bowl for the first time since 1989. The Seahawks and the Cowboys had that battle for seeding in the NFC playoffs, but they both go ahead and win their games on the road, while the 49ers at home hold off the Vikings. The Cowboys continue the run, stunning the 49ers in San Francisco, while the Eagles were in a bar fight with the Seahawks, but they beat them by 3. So now the Philadelphia Eagles will host the Dallas Cowboys in the NFC Championship game instead of the 49ers. But the result was almost the same. Instead of 31-7, it was 35-7. And just like in real life, the Philadelphia Eagles are off to the Super Bowl. This Super Bowl is actually a rematch from Super Bowl 23 in 1988. Both of these teams are looking to win their first Super Bowl since the 1980s. It used to be called the University of Phoenix Stadium. It's now called State Farm Stadium in Glendale, Arizona. We imagine Jake from State Farm will be at the game. Our matchup is the AFC champion Cincinnati Bengals and the NFC champion Philadelphia Eagles. The Bengals kick things off at their own 23-yard line. Joe Burrow wants to go deep. That's Jamar Chase. Makes the catch, escapes his corner. He's able to drag his way inside the 20-yard line. A few plays later, Burrow drops back and is taken down by Hassan Reddick. And in 2022, Hassan Reddick injures quarterbacks in championship games. Burrow is out for the duration. Brandon Allen is going to take his place. In the meantime, Evan McPherson puts through a 35-yard field goal. Cincinnati leads 3-0. The Eagles will now take their turn from their own 29-yard line. Jalen Hurts also wants to go deep. He's got A.J. Brown, makes the catch. The Bengals pursue and get him down for a 50-yard gain. The defense tightens from here. Jake Elliott's going to kick this field goal, except that Trey Hendrickson is going to block it. The Eagles are able to pick it up and run with it a little bit, but they go nowhere. The Bengals will take over. Allen coming in cold off the bench. His first pass attempt here for Tyler Boyd is ill-advised. It's intercepted by James Bradbury and run back in for the touchdown. That is a nightmare beginning for Allen in this game. Philly takes a 7-3 lead. Since he gets it back, though, and they're moving it now, Allen is settled into the game. It's 3rd and 1. He makes an audible, drops back into the shotgun, wants to throw it, goes deep to T. Higgins. He's there for the touchdown. How about that? Maybe Allen can get something done in this game. The Bengals take a 10-7 lead. Philly now facing 2nd and 9 inside their own 20-yard line. Hurts drops back, goes for Devontae Smith. That's going to be intercepted by Jesse Bates. So each team has now turned the ball over once, not counting Philly getting their field goal blocked, and the Bengals will take over. from the 49. It looks like they're showing blitz. They're going to run a direct snap to Joe Mixon. He's able to cut through the middle, break a tackle, cutting around other defenders, dragging another one, getting down inside the 20-yard line. From here, the pass goes from Allen to Higgins. They've connected for their second touchdown of this game, and the Bengals are now humming. They lead 17-7. The Eagles have time still in the first half to get something done. From the Bengal 40, Hurts goes across the middle. Dallas Goedert makes the catch and picks up a good gain of 21 yards. They'll now turn to the running game. Miles Sanders off left tackle, making some moves and able to get in for the score. With a minute 21 left in the half, the Eagles cut the lead down to 17-14. From here, the Bengals have some time. This pass goes to Joe Mixon, leaps over a tackle attempt and gets it into Philly territory. They keep it on the ground to Mixon, gets himself a first down, and with time ticking away, he gets the direct snap, picks up some more yardage. From here, they will kick a field goal 37 yards away. McPherson makes it. The Bengals lead this game at halftime, 20-14. Now in the second half, the Eagles have it first from just inside the 50-yard line. The pass goes to Dallas Goedert off the flare. He's able to squirm away from tacklers. A big gain for the tight end all the way down to the 2-yard line, and he's going to close things out with the touchdown catch. That's going to give the Eagles a lead now. Jake Elliott will make this extra point. It's 21-20. The Eagles defense forces a quick 3-and-out and have it deep in Bengals territory. From the 21, Hurts will drop back, goes to A.J. Brown, makes the catch, and scores another touchdown. The Eagles are kind of on fire right now. They've extended their lead out to 28-20. They will force another punt here. Kevin Huber gets this away to Britton Covey. He gets it at the 1 and is going to try to return it. That wasn't the best idea. The ball is knocked loose, and Lyle Collins, the big offensive tackle, scoops it up and finds his way into the end zone. Touchdown, Cincinnati. That'll get him back into this game at 28-27. Can they stop the Philly offense, though? From their own 35. Hurts has plenty of time, goes to A.J. Brown, makes the catch, breaks the tackle, continues on inside the 10, taken down at the 9-yard line. They're going to want to hold him to a field goal here. That's not what happens, though. A.J. Brown muscles his way in and scores the touchdown. Philly now extends back out to an 8-point lead. The Bengals moving the ball here, only 2:11 to go in the game. Brandon Allen has time, fires to Hayden Hurst, makes the catch, taken down at the 33-yard line. They will now set up at that spot. Allen in the shotgun. He has time again, will fire to Jamar Chase, and he will make the catch for the touchdown. The problem here is that this game only wants to go for 2 when it's under a minute to go. So they kick the extra point, but they're going to go onside. The ball is loose, and Quez Watkins will recover and get himself quite a return here down to the 22-yard line. The handoff goes to Miles Sanders, breaks a couple of tackles, and scores the touchdown. That's going to put this game away for the Eagles. The Bengals defense held on as long as it could, but the Philly offense was too overwhelming. We had a bit of a shootout here in the fourth quarter, but the Eagles maintain and win it 42-34. It's safe to say that the shootout wasn't just confined to the fourth quarter. We had 76 combined points in this game. Yes, the Joe Burrow injury hurt the team, but Philly also did score 35 points on offense. For the third straight Super Bowl, the team that was losing at halftime comes from behind and gets the win. It's time to shift the paradigm. The Eagles were a balanced team in this game without a single obvious standout. Maybe the best player on the field ought to be awarded with the MVP. That would be Eagles offensive tackle Jordan Mailata. A problem with offensive linemen and their reputations is that the only stats most people will associate with them are penalties and sacks allowed, which of course are negative. Well, Mailata allowed no sacks, no pressures, and missed no blocks in the running game, all while going up against pass-rushing maven Trey Hendrickson. And no, Mailata was not on him for the blocked punt. Any kind of game out of Hendrickson and the Bengals probably win, so Mailata is the most valuable. As stated in this season's introduction, the Eagles were a worthy Super Bowl champion this year, who may or may not have had the title snatched away from them due to factors out of their control. The fact that it was even a possibility is disheartening, so seeing them take it down in the resim should provide some respite. It took 42 years, but the Eagles have once again scaled the NFL mountaintop. After the NFL's longest ever drought without a repeat champion, not just in the Super Bowl era, 2023 brought us that repeat champion for the first time in 19 years in the Kansas City Chiefs. This was their third Super Bowl championship in their fourth appearance in 5 seasons. It was the second Super Bowl to ever go to overtime, and it was the third Super Bowl with a Shanahaning. A lot of numbers being thrown out there. For the Chiefs, this was a more defensive team, despite the fact that they still employed one of the most talented, if not the most talented quarterback to ever live in Patrick Mahomes. For their standards, it was a slightly lesser team, but they don't care, as they were champions again and had officially ensconced themselves in a dynasty. The 2023 NFL standings are going to tell us a few interesting stories. The New England Patriots had been holding on for a long time, but the bottom finally fell out this season. They're 4-13, their first last place finish since 2002, and their first time alone in last place since 1992, the season before they hired Bill Parcells. The Buffalo Bills are 14-3 for the third straight season, their fourth straight season with exactly 3 losses. They win the East, while Miami gets a wild card at 11-6 after being the only team in the division to miss out last season. But Buffalo is not the number 1 seed. That belongs to the Baltimore Ravens at 15-2. The Browns and the Steelers both finish at 10-7, but Cleveland goes ahead of them in the standings based on a head-to-head sweep. And more sweet for the Browns, they go to the playoffs while keeping the Steelers out. The AFC South gets a little bit better. The Houston Texans manage a winning record of 10-7 to take the division title. And in the West, it's the Kansas City Chiefs at 12-5, getting their 6th straight division championship and their 11th straight playoff appearance, all coming after the hiring of head coach Andy Reid. We get our first ever playoff appearance for the Las Vegas Raiders, going 10-7. They get the 6th seed over the Browns based on their 8-4 conference record against Cleveland's 7-5. The Philadelphia Eagles won the Super Bowl last season. They had a winning record this season, but they will miss the playoffs. It's the Dallas Cowboys who win the East at 12-5. We had a tie atop the NFC North. Also at 12-5 are the Green Bay Packers and the Detroit Lions. They split the head-to-head, but Green Bay swept out the rest of the division while Detroit went 3-3. So the Packers not only win that tiebreaker, they win one against the Cowboys for the number 2 seed, going 10-2 in the conference while Dallas was 8-4. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers will reclaim the South at 11-6, while the Saints at 10-7 were better than last season's division championship winning 8-9. This time they're going to have to settle for the wild card. The number 1 seed in the NFC goes to the West champion San Francisco 49ers at 13-4. The Rams do have the same record as the Eagles, but they beat them head-to-head during the season, so they will claim the number 7 seed. Let's now settle things on the AFC side of the playoffs. In the wild card round, the home team wins every game, with Houston's 13-point victory over Miami being the closest of them. Buffalo and Kansas City both won. The Bills will host the Chiefs. In real life, they can't beat them in the playoffs, but they get it done here, 23-21. Meanwhile, the Ravens steamroll the Texans. That'll take us to the AFC Championship game, where the Buffalo Bills are now appearing for the 4th straight season. They have to go to this juggernaut Ravens team, which is the toughest ask they've had of them all, but they finally get it done, 27-14, and finally break through to the Super Bowl during this era, marking their first appearance since 1999. While none of the AFC wildcard round games were close, all of the NFC games were. They were all within 6 points. New Orleans upsets Dallas. Detroit pulls off a mini upset over Tampa Bay, while Green Bay avoids the upset against the Rams. That now gives us the rubber match between the Lions and the Packers, and it's the Lions going into Lambeau Field and winning, while the 49ers have themselves an easy time over the Saints. So Lions at 49ers becomes our NFC Championship game, which was the real NFC Championship game. The Lions maybe should have won that one, and they do win this one, 31-23, sending the Detroit Lions to their first ever Super Bowl, whether in the resim or in real life. It's crazy that this is Super Bowl 58, yet we are going to be guaranteed a first-time winner. We've got another first here, our first Super Bowl in Sin City. Technically Paradise, Nevada, but basically Las Vegas. Allegiant Stadium is going to host these two, the AFC champion Buffalo Bills and the NFC champion Detroit Lions. The Lions are getting things going early with their quick passing game. Jared Goff hits Amon-Ra St. Brown. He hits him a second time, gets taken down here at the 10-yard line, gets him for a third time in the end zone, a diving catch for the touchdown. Detroit's offense humming right from the jump. They lead 7-0. But you know Buffalo's got some offense too. They're at their own 47-yard line. Josh Allen is going to throw short to Dalton Kincaid. He's going to cut inside, getting around several defenders. What a great run after the catch by Dalton Kincaid, getting them into a 1st and goal situation where Josh Allen's going to find star wide receiver Stephon Diggs for the touchdown. It really didn't take long for Buffalo to tie this game up at 7 apiece. Detroit's got it back. Goff drops back the pass, holds on to it for a while, and gets taken down by Saran Neal on a delayed corner blitz. And here on the next play, they get him down again. This is going to be Tyrell Dodson with the sack. So they're forced to punt on a 4th and 20. Instead, they try a fake. I get that this is an aggressive Lion team, but that's a bit too much, and immediately leads to this touchdown pass from Allen to Gabe Davis. So a high-risk, low-reward situation for Detroit turns into a touchdown for Buffalo. It's 14-7. They get back to the short passing game, the quick passing game. That's Josh Reynolds. That's Jahmyr Gibbs. They're spreading the ball around now. Gibbs is going to catch it again inside the 20. They inch it forward on 1st and 2nd down, now facing a 3rd and 6 from the 14. Goff hangs in the pocket, wants to go back to his main target. Amon-Ra St. Brown makes the grab for the touchdown. Detroit recovers from their little boo-boo earlier and tied us up at 14 apiece. Buffalo has time. They're in the shotgun from their own 20-yard line, 1:50 left in the half. The quick pass goes to Diggs, perfectly laid out by Allen. Diggs making some great moves, picking up a lot of yards after the catch. They're inside the 40-yard line. Now in field goal range, just under a minute to go. Allen again has time, goes to Davis. He's not shy about scoring multiple touchdowns in playoff games. Buffalo strikes before the end of the first half. They lead 21-14. The second half starts off defensively. Detroit faces 3rd and 4 in their own territory, and the defense continues. Leonard Floyd breaks through for his 2nd sack of the quarter. This time Detroit punts it away, and Buffalo's got a drive going just inside midfield. Allen goes deep to Davis once again. He's got enough speed to score touchdown number 3. All of this on just 4 catches. He makes the most of them, and Buffalo now leads 28-14. The Lions need to get back into gear here. From their own 34, Goff is going to fire this deep. This is running back Jahmyr Gibbs making an incredible diving catch. Gibbs breaks a tackle and gets it down to the 16. He's on the edge of 100 yards receiving in this game. They're at the Buffalo 15. Goff is going to go to Amon-Ra. He matches Gabe Davis with his 3rd touchdown of the game. That's going to cut the lead down to 28-20. They're going to go for 2 here. This is a good call on the analytics. They pitch it out to Gibbs, and he's easily in. That makes it 28-22. Of course, a touchdown and an extra point will give them the lead, but they need to stop first. And Josh Allen is going to run for the first down and quite a bit more, getting it down to the Detroit 40. He's had lots of short runs in this game. That was his first long one. They do get a sack on first down, so now on 2nd and 18, Allen has time, goes back to Diggs, makes the catch. The Lions give desperate chase, and they get him. He is taken down here at the 2-yard line. Even a field goal here will make this a 2-score game, but Josh Allen says nuh-uh. He runs it in himself for the touchdown. So it's definitely a 2-score game, but it's a 13-point game at 35-22. Detroit, time's not on their side. They're at their own 18-yard line. Goff puts this up for St. Brown. He goes up and makes the catch. What a monstrous game St. Brown is having. He still hasn't gone down. Finally does after the 52-yard game. They've now brought it to the 9-yard line. At the edge of the 2-minute warning, Goff goes to St. Brown again. Touchdown for his 4th of the game, at the moment doing so in a losing effort. It's 35-29. They're going to be going onside here. This kick is sent too far, and it's recovered by Buffalo. They get themselves a pretty good return inside the 30-yard line. The cherry on this Sunday is a pitch to James Cook, who runs it in for the score. It went back and forth in the second half, but Buffalo held the advantage the whole way, and they win this game 42-29. The Lions attempt to become just the 4th wildcard team and the first since 1997 to win the Super Bowl, ultimately came up short to a team that over the past few seasons have felt destined to finally grab that brass ring. Here they've done it, and their unquestioned on-field leader and best player is also the Super Bowl MVP, quarterback Josh Allen. He completed over 80% of his passes for 285 yards and 4 touchdowns, while grinding out 41 tough yards on the ground and scoring his own touchdown. They've finally done it. The real-life 2023 Bills went 11-6 after a 6-6 start, then suffered wide right 2 during the playoffs. This Bills team locked in for the whole season, beat the Chiefs in the playoffs, broke through to the Super Bowl, and got their first win after 7 losses, 4 in real life, all consecutively, and 3 in the resim. Let it be known that it can finally be said. The Buffalo Bills are Super Bowl champions. The 2024 season was the 9th time that an NFL team was looking to win a 3rd consecutive Super Bowl. In the previous 8 attempts, all of those teams not only failed to win the Super Bowl, but failed to even get back to the game. So when the Kansas City Chiefs achieved that this season, they had entered into brand new territory. Of course, that Super Bowl did not go the way they planned, as they got drubbed by the Philadelphia Eagles 40-22 in a little bit of revenge for having lost that game to the Chiefs 2 years earlier. And for the very first time in the entire Super Bowl era, it can be said with complete honesty that this season probably should have belonged to the Detroit Lions. The 2024 NFL standings are going to shake out like this. Our defending Super Bowl champion Buffalo Bills are a little weaker this season, but they still win the East at 12-5, while the Miami Dolphins land themselves another wild card at 10-7. The Baltimore Ravens are also a little weaker, but still win the North at 13-4. The Houston Texans, on the other hand, are a little bit stronger, and they still win the South, going 12-5. To this point, every division champion has been the same as last season, but not in the West. The Los Angeles Chargers explode to 15-2 and take the conference's #1 seed. The Kansas City Chiefs are not even second place. That goes to Denver at 11-6. The Chiefs are third, and they get the #7 seed because the Dolphins went 8-4 in the conference, while the Chiefs only went 6-6. Our other tiebreaker here is that the Bills beat the Texans head-to-head, so they get the #3 seed. Now over in the NFC, in the East, this season's Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles tie atop the division with the Washington Commanders, but Washington pulled off the head-to-head sweep. They will win the division, while the Eagles have to settle for the wild card. The NFC North was wild, with the Detroit Lions topping it at 15-2 and grabbing the conference's #1 seed. Green Bay becomes our second team at 13-4 to have to settle for a wild card, while the Minnesota Vikings at 10-7 easily slip into the #7 seed. The Eagles beat the Packers head-to-head, so Philly will be the 5, and an awesome Green Bay team with an awesome record has to settle for the 6. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are the only show in town down south. They go 12-5 to win the division, while the Arizona Cardinals storm the West, going 13-4. That record ties them with the Commanders. Washington beat them head-to-head, so they get the 2 seed, while the Vikings beat the Rams head-to-head, keeping LA out of the playoffs. Now to sort through the playoff field, the Kansas City Chiefs are a dangerous 7 seed, but the Baltimore Ravens are dangerous, period. They hold on to the slim 24-20 victory. Buffalo gets the easy win over Miami, completing the season sweep, while Denver smacked the Texans in Houston. In the next round, though, the Broncos could not handle an awesome Chargers defense, while the Ravens get another slim victory over the defending champion Bills. This is indeed an awesome Chargers defense, and it's gotten them to the AFC Championship against the Ravens, but in this game it fell apart in a 42-24 loss. After 2 close playoff wins, the Baltimore Ravens smack them up to make their 4th Super Bowl appearance in 11 seasons. On the NFC side of things, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers repeat their real-life wildcard victory over the Philadelphia Eagles, while the Packers were forced to the road but beat the Cardinals as the Commanders take easy care of the Vikings. Washington keeps it going with a comprehensive victory over Tampa Bay, while the Green Bay Packers run into their kryptonite. With this loss, they now have 5 on the season. More than half of those, 3, have come to this one team, the Detroit Lions. So we're now getting a rematch of that famous/infamous, depending on your point of view, divisional matchup between the Lions and Commanders during the real regular season. This one, however, is for all the NFC marbles, and it was once again a high-scoring game, but this time the Lions have the goods, winning 38-33, getting back to the Super Bowl for the 2nd straight season. They're going to be matching up with the Baltimore Ravens in name. We once again have to dress them up for the 4th time in 11 seasons as the Pittsburgh Steelers. And for the 8th time, this stadium, now known as the Caesars Superdome, will be hosting this Super Bowl, and it's actually the 11th time overall in the city of New Orleans. Super Bowl 59, also known to many as Super Bowl Licks, will give us the following matchup: our AFC champion Baltimore Ravens and our NFC champion Detroit Lions. The Lions start this game facing a 3rd and short at their own 35-yard line. The handoff to David Montgomery is going to be stopped short of the 1st down. So they're going to bring out the punting unit, but for the 2nd straight Super Bowl, they run a fake. This time it's a lot more effective. It was on 4th and inches, and they're able to get the 1st down. That's going to sustain the drive, and that's going to get him going. This pass goes to Jahmyr Gibbs, making himself quite a star wide receiver out of the backfield. A 38-yard gain. The pitch to Gibbs now around the right end is just going to come up short of the end zone, but from here, David Montgomery is going to plow his way in for the score. The Lions take advantage of their trickery and are able to jump out to a 7-0 lead. The Ravens are going to look to respond. They're in the shotgun on their own 40-yard line. Lamar Jackson hangs in the pocket, throws across the middle, finds his tight end Mark Andrews for the first down. The drive continues now. They're at 3rd and 4 from the 16-yard line. Jackson's going to try to take off running, but the Lions are able to wrangle him down. Justin Tucker will kick the field goal, cutting into the Lions' lead at 7-3. Detroit will now have an opportunity to take a 2-score lead. They've got a 3rd and 5 here in the second quarter. The pitch to Montgomery goes nowhere. So the Ravens take over and have got a drive going into Lion territory. From the 36, Jackson throws it to Isaiah Likely, makes the catch and picks up some good yardage after the catch. The number 2 tight end in name only gets the first down, and here from the 1-yard line, the king himself will take it home. Derrick Henry will put the Ravens in the lead at 10-7. That's going to be our halftime score. The Lions can't get anything going, and now the Ravens have it to start the second half. They're going to continue to ride Derrick Henry. He had a lot of grind him out yardage in the first half, but here he gets a nice long run, dragging his defender along the sideline, 33 yards in all. It's now 2nd and 1 from the 29. They're going to stay with Henry. The powerhouse goes around right end, gains some speed. It takes about 3 guys to get him down just inside the 10-yard line. It's now 3rd and goal from the 3. They stay with Henry up the middle. Touchdown, Baltimore. Derrick Henry was the engine, the carburetor, and every other part of the car on that drive. They've now got out to a 17-7 lead. Detroit needs to get going. From their own 30, they're going to try a reverse to the speedy Jameson Williams, and that might start things up. He does have a lot of speed here. He's able to get this inside the 40-yard line. The drive continues. They're at the 28. Goff is going to pitch this to Jahmyr Gibbs. He's pretty speedy too, and no one's going to be able to put fingers on him. Gibbs takes it in for the score. So Detroit needed something to happen there, and they made it happen. They've cut this lead down to 17-14. Baltimore now has 2nd and 1 at their own 47. Lamar Jackson calls his own number around left end, finds the sideline. He's got speed of his own and makes a nice spin move as well. The ball's knocked loose, but it goes out of bounds. Bad break for Detroit there. The Ravens will maintain possession. This pass goes to Zay Flowers. He gets away from a tackle, and he turns on his speed, running it in for the touchdown. That's the first touchdown pass by anybody in this game. It comes late in the 3rd quarter, giving the Ravens a 24-14 lead. Detroit's got its groove going here. It is 3rd and 3. Goff will drop back. He looks like he wants to run. Instead, he flips it to Jameson Williams. That was dangerous across the field, but it worked. They've got 3rd down again, this time with 6 yards to go. Goff is just going to hang in the pocket. He lets it go last second. Williams makes the diving catch for the first down. They are in field goal range, and they trail by 10, but they want to get into the end zone. Goff has it, and he goes to Gibbs. He makes the diving catch for the touchdown. Gibbs has now scored one on the ground and through the air. That cuts this down to 24-21. They kick it away, hoping to get a stop, and they do have Baltimore at 3rd and 15. The direct snap goes to Derrick Henry. He picks up 11 yards, but it's not enough. So Detroit now is on the march. It's 2nd and 9. Goff has time, but he's losing time, and he goes down in the arms of Roquan Smith. That's going to make this 3rd and 20. They probably want to get about half the yardage they need on this play. Goff will take off running and fumbles the ball. Nate Wiggins knocks it loose, but Detroit recovers it. So they've gotten a lifeline here. It is 4th and 17. Goff throws quickly to Brock Wright. That's incomplete. that was never going anywhere anyway. The Ravens are able to run out the clock and hold on to the 24-21 victory. The Detroit Lions become just the fourth team after the 1968 Raiders, the 1983 Redskins, and the 1991 Bills to lose consecutive Super Bowls, while the Baltimore Ravens quietly give the AFC a sixth consecutive title, beginning after they were humiliated by the Saints before bouncing back to defeat the 49ers. The new guy in 2024 who made such an impact for them carried that impact into this Super Bowl, being named its MVP, Derrick Henry. King Henry gutted out 26 big carries for 143 yards. He scored 2 touchdowns, never lost any yardage on any carry, and does as he always does by getting stronger as the game got longer. As mentioned, the Ravens won the Super Bowl 5 years ago. They won it back in 2000, and they've won it here, putting them in some rarefied air with Lombardi Trophy number 3. Their real-life counterparts have yet to even qualify for the big game since 2012, leading to some questions about their ultimate ability to ever do so. That's been far less a concern in the recent, as the Ravens get onto that Super Bowl podium one more time. We have finally arrived at the final season of the Super Bowl era, at least as of this recording. We're talking about the 2025 NFL season and the road to Super Bowl 60. Now, 2025 brought us several teams who spent 2024 on the outside looking in, and no two teams exemplify that more than the Seattle Seahawks and the New England Patriots, teams who missed the playoffs the year before that faced off in this season's Super Bowl. Now, it may have taken 11 years for them to extract some revenge after the Malcolm Butler situation, but in the end, it was Seattle who carried off their second Lombardi Trophy into the sunset. For the 60th and final time, let's take a look at these NFL standings. The New England Patriots won the AFC this season, but here they will miss the playoffs at 10-7, while the Buffalo Bills once again win the title at 13-4. The Jets won one game all season, and it was against the Patriots. Over in the North, the Baltimore Ravens squeak by Pittsburgh to win it at 12-5. The Steelers do land a wild card at 11-6. Now, we saw the Patriots miss the playoffs at 10-7. Well, the Jacksonville Jaguars are going to miss it at 11-6. It's the Steelers who get to the playoffs ahead of the Jaguars based on their 8-4 conference record against Jacksonville's 7-5. That's a really bad beat for the Jaguars here. The Texans win the division at 13-3-1, half a game ahead of the number 5 seed, the 13-4 Indianapolis Colts. And over in the West, just like real life, it's won by the Denver Broncos. They go 13-4. The Kansas City Chiefs are much better here than they were in real life, going 12-5 and earning a wild card spot. The Texans do sneak out the number 1 seed. The Broncos get number 2 over the Bills. They went 9-3 in conference, while Buffalo went 8-4. The NFC East has had a habit of being a bit lackluster, and here we go again. It's the Philadelphia Eagles who take it down at 11-6. Our two-time defending NFC champion Detroit Lions did not let games slip away here like they did in real life. They go 14-3 and take the number 1 overall seed. For the Green Bay Packers, they're good enough at 11-6 to land a wildcard spot. In the South, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers were less destructive defensively and managed an actual winning record, going 11-6 and taking the number 3 seed over the Eagles based on head-to-head tiebreaker. The power lies in the West, where the Seahawks, like the Texans, win the division by a half a game, going 12-4-1, which means, obviously, those two teams tied their regular season game. The Rams are the top wild card at 12-5, while the 49ers slumped to 9-8, but hey, they still made the playoffs. Let's see how things shake out here in the AFC. A Chiefs-Bills matchup in the wild card round seems unfathomable, but here we are with Kansas City snagging the narrow victory. Baltimore, Indianapolis never seems to get old. The Colts could not get it going in this one though, the Ravens win it, and the Broncos down the Steelers in a low-scoring contest. The Broncos-Ravens game was also quite low-scoring, but this time Denver can't get the job done, while Houston keeps Kansas City at arm's length throughout, winning that game. So our reigning Super Bowl champion Baltimore Ravens are going to try to get back into the Super Bowl, but the Houston Texans will not allow it. They're going to get there this season for the second time after previously doing so in 2011. Now we head over to the NFC where the Seahawks down the 49ers, not quite as emphatically as they did in real life, but without any doubts. The Rams need overtime, but they beat the Eagles, while the Packers beat the Buccaneers in the Battle of the Bays. The Detroit Lions swept the Green Bay Packers 3-0 last season and are set to do it again this season. But Green Bay ain't having it. They go to Detroit and pull off the upset, ending Detroit's bid to get back to the big game. The Rams and the Seahawks have a shootout, as they do. This time Seattle pulls away in the end and gets a 2-score victory. So they're now going to host Green Bay in the NFC Championship game. But the Packers have the momentum. They get the win, and they sneak their way into the Super Bowl. This is the second time in 3 seasons that the NFC provided a wildcard team to the big game. Green Bay is in fact the last wildcard team to win it all the way back in 1997. They're going to be matching up with the Houston Texans, who are not in Tecmo Super Bowl III and will have to dress up in the uniforms of the Miami Dolphins. 10 years on from the last time the Super Bowl was held in Levi Stadium, it's being held there again. Just outside of San Francisco, California, we're getting this matchup between the AFC champion Houston Texans and the NFC champion Green Bay Packers. Green Bay is going to start things off with the passing game. This is Jordan Love hitting Christian Watson across the middle. Now he's going to go downfield across the middle again to Romeo Doubs. They're set up as 2nd and 5 from the Houston 12-yard line off the play action. The out goes to Doubs, and he's able to break the plane for the touchdown. A scorching start here for the Packers as they get on this Texans defense for a 7-0 lead. They've got the ball again, but they're pinned back at their own 6. Love's camped down in his own end zone, completes the pass to Christian Watson, but he will fumble. Kalen Bullock forces it. Houston recovers, gets it down to the 3-yard line. From here, CJ Stroud finds Xavier Hutchinson. He's got himself a Super Bowl touchdown reception, tying this game up at 7 apiece. Green Bay's got it again now at their own 21-yard line. This Houston defense comes to life. Will Anderson breaks through and gets the quick sack. On the next play, they don't break through quite as quickly, but here comes Anderson anyway. Love goes down at the 1. Green Bay is forced to punt, and Houston gets excellent field position. They've taken advantage inside the red zone. Stroud drops back, goes for Dalton Schultz, makes a tough catch at the 3. Nothing much happening on 1st and 2nd down. Here they face 3rd and goal. They're going to try the draw play to Woody Marks. He drags himself to the 2, but that's as far as he goes. Kaimi Fairbairn is going to come out for the field goal. That wasn't so smooth, but it went in. Houston takes a 10-7 lead. Green Bay's got it going here, but it's 3rd and 12. They keep it very safe. The Josh Jacobs run will come up short, but the punt is a good one. Houston's got it at their own 7-yard line. Stroud tries to go quick to Nico Collins, but safety Xavier McKinney is there for the interception. He brings it back to the 13. They've got him wrapped up, but he escapes and takes it all the way in for the touchdown. Green Bay played a game of field position, and it worked. Then they've retaken the lead at 14-10. Houston's still got some time left. They're at their own 24. Stroud looks downfield. The defender falls down. Nico Collins there for the catch. He's in the clear. They give chase, but Collins will get away, and he's going to take it all the way in for the score. What a response by Houston. 76 yards from CJ Stroud to Nico Collins. They've retaken the lead, and Green Bay has got it all the way back at their own 5-yard line. Not sure what they're trying here. Henry To'o breaks through and gets the safety before the end of the half. What a breakdown by the Packers. Houston has a 19-14 lead. They've got the ball in Packer territory in the third quarter. Stroud goes for Jaden Higgins. He slightly overthrows him. They're going to bring Fairbairn out for another field goal attempt. He makes it. This is still a one-score game at 22-14. The Packers offense has gone as cold as the ground at Lambeau Field. On 3rd and 10, off the play action is Danielle Hunter coming off the edge and getting the sack. Green Bay is going to have to punt it away again. Houston's got it at their own 33-yard line. Stroud gets wrapped up in the backfield and will go down. That's Micah Parsons with his 3rd sack of the game. That's helping keep Green Bay alive. They've got 3rd and 3 in Texans territory. Love maybe hears the footsteps here. Gets it out for Dontavian Wicks. It's incomplete. They do pin Houston back again, though. They're at their own 9-yard line. Here comes the rush. The pass gets off. They just avoid getting their own safety. Green Bay's got it back, but it's 3rd and 13. Love again with the quick pass to Wicks. That's complete. They're short, and they're going to have to go for it here on this 4th down. 3 minutes and change remaining in the game. It is 4th and 7. Off the play action. Here comes Hunter getting him down for the sack. They turn the ball over on downs. Houston's going to tack on another field goal, and the Green Bay offense just stumbles and bumbles their way to the end. Houston's going to win this game by a final score of 25-14. The Packers got into the end zone on their very first drive, but from there, the Texans defense pitched a shutout. They had just enough offense from that point to take down this Super Bowl title, but the stars were on defense. We saw Danielle Hunter collect 3 sacks. We even saw Micah Parsons do so on the other side. But this man, Will Anderson, also had 3 sacks, adding 4 additional tackles with another one of those behind the line of scrimmage. Leading the charge for this dominant defensive unit, Anderson is named the Super Bowl MVP. 60 seasons in, and we still find time and space for a first-time champion. And this isn't just any old franchise. Born in 2002, the Texans are the NFL's most recent addition, and while they've seen glimmers of success, they've never won the Super Bowl in real life. They've actually never even been to the Super Bowl. In fact, they've never so much as made it to the AFC Championship game, going 0-7 in the divisional round, all of those games played on the road. They had the goods in this resim though, and they get their trophy collection started just in the nick of time. With every season of the Super Bowl era now replayed, here are all the Super Bowl results. I know this isn't the easiest thing to read. At the very end of the description of this video, underneath the spoiler warning, is this same list. Starting in just a moment here, running in the background is going to be each team's overall performance in the Super Bowl in real life, lined up against how they did in the resim, with the seasons they accomplished their various feats also listed. As that goes by, I wanted to take a moment to wax poetic just a little bit about what brought this resimulation to life, something I hold near and dear to my heart, the Tecmo Bowl series. The Sims themselves were performed on Tecmo Super Bowl III, but the soundtrack to this series comes from all the games, going all the way back to the original Tecmo Bowl and its 12-team roster. I played Tecmo Bowl for the first time when I was a kid, and with maybe the exception of Mega Man 2, no video game or game of any kind has hooked me quite like this one did. Of course, I used the San Francisco 49ers, running the ball with Roger Craig, throwing it to Jerry Rice, and playing defense with Ronnie Lott. Each successive release brought me untold joy, especially Tecmo Super Bowl for the NES, with the entire 28-team NFL adding real team names to the real player names, along with a full season mode. The good Lord could have brought me to heaven, and I'm not sure I would have noticed the difference. For all the other football games and series that have come and gone since then, despite some of them being very good, at least some of the time, nothing ever has and nothing ever will top Tecmo for me. It's now 2026, and I'm most certainly on the back nine, and I will still play them all. To anyone involved in any capacity with the creation of any of these games, thank you, thank you, thank you. We are finally finished. That was 60 seasons of the Super Bowl era, 6 videos, about 12 hours of content. We saw a lot of results that looked the same to real life. We saw some results that were a little different, and we saw some results that were a lot different. The one thing that I hope was consistent all the way through was that you got to enjoy the content. I certainly enjoyed making it. I also hope that it was a lot of fun. I can't thank you enough for sticking through it. If this was the first video you watched, there's 5 more for you. If this was the last one, you're a true soldier. I cannot thank you enough. The one last thing we have to cover here is the C-scores of all these teams for the last 10 seasons. That will now provide officially every single C-score for every single team of the Super Bowl era. And don't forget, we have their resimulated C-scores here as well. Thank you once again for taking the time to join us, not just today, but for this entire journey. And until next time, I hope you have an awesome day.